Topik kita adalah MPI. I come back to that. So I've taken note. I've given you the rough idea. Satu adalah dari segi political stability untuk pembasmian. Number two is proper measurement, important. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, clear? So I will address your as I go through. I will address your issues. So the issue is the topic is on multi-dimensional poverty index (MPI). Multi-dimensional. I'm sure you already heard that in development just now. So development has to be, when development is multidimensional, not looking at only one dimensional, that is unidimensional. That means the word unidimensional only for growth, but we also look at other aspects, multidimensional. So then measurement is also need to be multidimensional. So is development and poverty related? Now you know it's related, yes. When development is properly addressed, it has some bearing, ada hubung kaitnya dengan apa? Poverty. So because we said development must be what? Development not just economic centered. Kalau economic centered, now that is why bagaimana acuan begitulah kuenya. Because earlier it was more of economic centered. That's why our measurement is all on apa? Miskinan mutlak, absolute poverty. Based on what? PLI. Poverty line income. Kalau below tu katakan 980, sekarang 2000 kan. Dulu 1980 ke bawah, you miskin. Kalau 981, tak miskin. Simple lah, I'm giving you, isn't it? Kan? Dia macam tu keadaan dia. So tak logik lah kan. Tapi politicians dia suka. Kenapa? Simplistic. Very simple to measure. So it's unidimensional. So konsep dulu tentang development adalah economy based. Jadi measurement pun sekarang apa jadi? Jadi poverty pun economy based. Development economy based. Iaitu dulu kan, iaitu GDP kan, growth. Poverty pun, konsep poverty pun berkaitan dengan development apa tu? Income based. Unidimensional. Measurement pun income. Kan? Bila problem dia income, measurement pun income lah. Solution pun income juga. That's why dia apa? Membasmi kemiskinan tu dia banyak bagi apa? Subsidi. Mungkin income means here can be material, can be income and non-material. Income and also material in other non-income factors like material. It's also material. It's also material. So everything revolves around cash, money, material. Then development change, the conceptualization change. Iaitu daripada development bukan hanya economy, but it's more of human-centered. That's where other dimensions are coming in. So when other dimensions are coming in, it becomes multidimensional. It's not just on income base. They bring in other dimensional because development is changing. It became holistic. They're looking at other dimensions, multidimensional. So therefore, poverty also they need to look into other dimensions apart from income. So development dengan income, poverty ada connected tak? It's related. So a contemporary poverty measurement is in sync, synchronized with holistic development. Why? Trinity in poverty study. Always remember Trinity ada tiga lah. Trinity in. One is conceptualization. How you conceptualize. First, you must have a proper conceptualization. If it's going to be only, if you look at books of those days, it's all on income base. Okay, income base, mainly on income base. Then later, people like Amartya Sen and all came. So they brought in other dimensions. You have conceptualization of poverty became from unidimensional to cut the story short, from unidimensional to maksudnya income only or material base. The other one is other factors along coming in. Like health, access to communication, transportation, okay, even mind, psychic, empowerment. In fact, earlier they were talking about empowerment, equality, productivity, and sustainability. 4 important dimensions of human-centered. This was a classical classical definition of human-centered in the beginning in 1990s. Adopted by human development, that is from Amartya Sen and Mahbubul Haq. They came with this 4 dimension. When you say about human-centered, what do you mean by human-centered development? What do you mean human development? One is on empowerment. Number 2 is on sustainability. All this sustainability all came from there. Number 3 is on equality. And the third one is on empowerment. Productivity, I think. 4, all in 4. Got it, 4, isn't it? Okay. So you need to conceptualize properly. Then from unidimensional economic base, that is economic perspective measurement, that is absolute poverty, relative poverty, hardcore poverty, and Gini coefficient, all that is under income. Then concepts different, multidimensional came. When multidimensional came, then you have MPI came about. So measurement also changed from absolute, relative, hardcore, and relative, we changed to MPI sekarang, the index, multidimensional poverty index, measurement change. When measurement change, your elevation also will change, right? Because now you're not looking at only income as a solution. There are other factors that you take into consideration as a solution. That means, for instance, access, that means, let's say, building of clinic near to the rural area. All right? And make sure the media is good because information can reach them. Media is good. Okay? The media is important. So information, the right information goes to the target group. Bottom to top, that means listening from people. That means you send your personnel or whoever, representative from the poor of that community to take part in the discussion, in the discourse, how to bring about changes among the people. So you have a representative coming there, bottom to top, not top to bottom. You don't bulldoze like that. And empowerment, education is another policy. Education, how do you use education to actually to build up the workforce? See, we have, like, you go to universities and all that, you are actually building up future potential workforce so that they can come out of actually all this poverty trap. They don't get sidelined or deprived. So how do you use education as a means? You give them training, let's say. So the training will go to rural area. RTC, Rural Transformation Center, isn't it? It's actually bringing the service to the people. Important. Bring the service to the people, health-wise, service-wise, internet coverage. Important now is online. We realized when through COVID, I myself was struggling actually, learning what is Zoom and all that, all I do not know. We all chalk and board and face-to-face. Okay, and now managed to learn all this inline live streaming. Important now. And the coverage is important. Those who don't have coverage, they'll get deprived. Isn't it? Rural areas, they get deprived. So now they need to cover them. So these are important actually. So these are the aspects, multidimensional coming in, not just income based. I give you money monthly is enough. So BREAM and all that, economically, is a Keynesian approach. That is stimulus package. That is BREAM. Some of what? One more, what is that? Okay. All that is short term actually. All that is short term, cash, short term. Doesn't take them far, not long term. So these are the dimensions that we're looking at actually. So that's right. So these are all, so you need to conceptualization had changed from unidimensional to multidimensional development. Poverty also same, measurement also same, elevation also same. So you can address the targeted group, golongan bersasar. So human development, of course, the same cases arrive. MPI scholars, these are the MPI scholars. They are the ones who started. They are the ones who revolutionized the thinking. Okay, you must know them. Mahbub Haq, and again, because it's connected to development, and Amartya Sen. And these are the people, the one that we are using today, it has been modified from HDI, Human Development Index, during Mahbub Haq and Amartya Sen. Then after that, in 1990, it was formed. UNDP, they used that, United Nations Development Program, they used that, adopted that to measure. And after that, in 1997, Human Poverty Index, they were direct to the point. So it is actually two things they look at it. One is well-being and poverty also. Then today is Oxford, 2010. They come out a very consolidated and sama mantap lah, lagi mantap dia punya ukuran tu lagi mantap. It's more consolidated, mantap. That is what is known as NPI 2010 from Oxford Poverty Human Development Initiative. Actually, it's from the Oxford University, from the Oxford University, and for the United Nations, developed by Sabina Al-Kaya. She's the one. Nampak muka. She has been to Malaysia. I think she was interviewed in 2019. I think. Consider this. You know, there's a program, talk show in Consider This in English. Consider this. So she was invited. That time Malaysia belum lagi, ya. So she was questioning. Kenapa tak ada lagi MPM? A proper MPM lah. So she was questioning. I was listening to that. And mereka dua ni, James Foster, two of them, and Santos also same lah. So they are the one who developed this it's all adapted and adopted from HDI, then HPI, and this. And this is more consolidated, more, it's very comprehensive and easy to calculate. And very, I call two words, robust and rigorous. Robust means strong. Rigorous means you can follow them step by step. Robust and rigorous. These are terms they use statistically, where it is easy to follow and it's very strong and clear. They have done that actually. And after that, there are a lot of modification also, but I think this is the one we also follow, but we have modified a bit. So multiple poverty in chronology, you start with HDI, Human Development Index, then HPI and MPI. So in a nutshell, this is the HDI lah. If you look at other persamaan sikit lah, you have long and healthy life, knowledge, and decent standard of living. They have this is the beginning. They had it lah. Then you can go through. Then this is the human development. This is the HPI, longevity, knowledge, and living. They create for two. One is for the developing countries, and the other one developed countries. So all these are the one. Okay, it's all connected. I'm looking at giving the history how it is being developed. It came about. All right. Then this is what the latest MPI. MPI. So this is the latest MPI. Health, education, standard of living. Then for health, you have two indicators. There's nutrition and child mortality. Health. That means they're looking at whether, when I say, what they are mentioning, actually, when I say health means what? They are looking at whether you have access to health. Health is important or not, as far as poverty is concerned. Who can tell me? Is it, how is connected? Okay, you must, okay, this is supposed to be your question, not my question. You must question the answer. You must question, I'm giving you answers, you must question the answer. That is actually that is the principle of philosophy. You must question the answer. Only through question you can generate. So, health means, how is related to poverty? Who can tell me that? Good. How health is berkaitan dengan kemiskinan? You can use mixed language. And then mix like anything, dual language, like Malay. Health,
We have that. If we have a negative mindset, so we will deprive towards a negative lifestyle as well and the health. So it's the same as kita punya nowadays youngsters, we can't have that because of the materialism punya thinking. And then bila kita tak dapat, kita deprive nak dapat benda tu, last kali tak dapat, and then depression, and then leads towards the negative life lah.
Oh, she has gone very deep, you know. The question is very simple. She has gone into philosophy already. She's talking about mindset and all that, healthy mindset and all that. You're not good. Good. You're going deep. That is the psychic aspect you're talking about. That is not the measurement here, is not on that. You're looking at that nutrition and child mortality. Yeah. Good. Your answer is not wrong. You see, that's one thing about this. Your answers are not wrong or right. It depends what are you relating to, actually. So we'll come back to that. That's another area. But anyway, this is what we are looking at, actually. They're going to the fundamentals. Health here, they're talking about tentang kesihatan lah. Iaitu the sub indicators, the indicators there is connected is actually denoting the health. Iaitu kesihatan ni akses kepada health. Maksudnya kalau saya ni tak healthy apa jadi? Let's say I'm poor, I'm not healthy, let's see. What happens? What is the repercussion? Katakan saya health, I'm an individual, I'm a workforce. In a society, I'm a workforce. In a country, this workforce important tak? They call human capital kan? Penting tak buruh? Penting. That's why they say that workforce age is very important, you know. That's why India and China, they still are very strong. They say, you know why? The workforce age is amazing. Paling besar dia punya tu. Piramid dia macam piramid kan. So it's important. Aging society, problem dia tak ada apa, workforce. And workforce is important for employment untuk banyak sektor kan. So coming back, kalau saya unhealthy, what happens? I can't be a good human capital, you know. I can't be a good workforce. You know? Bila I don't become a good workforce, that means what happens? I can't get employment. When I won't get employment, what happens? I don't earn money. When I don't earn money, that means what? I suffer. Right. Health is important. Right? Healthy society leads to a better well-being society. And less poorer. If you're not healthy, you become poorer. Health is one factor. Health is one major factor of being poorer because they don't get employed, they don't go for work, selalu di rumah, tak bekerja, habis. That mind line, that's another problem. That's a big major problem actually. We look into that later. You got it? So now how do they measure? So this is important. First of all, you must know how to get the analysis, the unit of analysis you must know. Itu penting. How to nak membina MPI, you must know how to mencari unit of analysis. What are you going to measure and all that you need to know. That's why I'm going through that. I know you need to understand that properly. Why they use this word health. So nutrition, penting tak nutrition? Penting. See, it's not easy to measure health. Do you think simply can, how are you going to measure? In research, how are you going to measure health? Oh, boleh sebut lah. Tapi how are you going to measure? Nutrition, how are you going to measure? You're going to go in the house to ask, find out. It's not going to be easy. How are you going to find out nutrition? Macam mana kamu nak? Dia kena ada benchmark dia. Nutrition maksudnya memang dalam kajian di Malaysia pun, di mana-mana pun, came out in rancangan Malaysia 11 dan 12, one factor of kemiskinan disebabkan oleh malnourished. Terbantut dia punya pertumbuhan dia. Terbantut, malnourishment. Terbantut pertumbuhan dia. That means what? Malnourishment not only physically, mentally. When you don't eat nutritious food, dia makan. Malaysia, miskin Malaysia, dia makan. Makanan ada. Quantity. Quality tidak ada. Nasi banyak, sayur kurang. Have you noticed? Nasi lauk ada. You tengok kadang-kadang pergi nasi kandak, I've seen, I used to observe. Lauk, ayam, ataupun ikan. Sayur tak ada. It's not balanced. Why? They think satu sebab lidah sedap, kenyang cukup. That's not the way. Nasi kurang, tapi you have balance. Sayur 1, 2. After that, you need protein also lah, of course. Nothing wrong with that. But need to be balanced. And that when you're poor, what happens? You don't spend so much money because it's expensive. Of course it's expensive one. From there you can relate. Also, semua you boleh relate. How are you going to measure? Who can tell me? Easy way to measure how. You ambil mereka punya apa? BMI. Body Mass Index. That's what we did. That's what they do. Body Mass Index. From the Body Mass Index, dia boleh tengok dia punya nutrition kan? So, yes. Ambil apa? Body Mass Index senang saja. Dalam dia punya borang sawah sedih, of course, you want to go for MPI, you need to have borang sawah sedih lah. Survey form lah. So, profile dia. You kena tahu dia punya ketinggian dia dan juga berat badan dia. Jadi kena bawa juga bersama apa? Timbang. Dan juga pita. Because you pergi interview, katakan you bawa ni, you punya borang sawah sedih macam tu, you kena ukur. Senang aja. You bawa, you baki, you lepas tu you bahagi dan juga square sajalah. you bahagi apa ketinggian dengan dia punya berat badan, lepas tu square dia punya berat badan. I think you can check that. Kan? Then you'll get dia punya BMI, unit dia you can dapat kg over apa meter and all that stuff. Itu menunjukkan, dan you kena letakkan benchmark dia apa yang dikatakan malnourished, 8.5 ataupun 8 ke bawah. You can all that, you must get information from where? Either engineer or doctor. Tanya and you set. That's their benchmark. Okay, we'll come back to it later lah. Tu saya akan tunjukkan nanti. So you know what I'm trying to say, ya? So nutrition tu penting sebab dia punya repercussionnya banyak. From there you boleh tengok kalau banyak yang malnourished, that means what? Something is wrong with their health. Third, if something is wrong with their health, that means itu miskin tak? You see, kemiskinan tu definisi dia adalah if you are not access to healthy living, makanan, all that connected, you're considered poor.
Yeah.
So why considered poor? At the national level, you're not a good human. You're not a good workforce. You don't give, that means you cannot contribute productivity. You're poor. You can't contribute productivity. That means I being in a workforce, whatever I do, I must able to contribute some productivity for the money I earn. If I'm unhealthy, what happens? God, I'm poor. Isn't it? That is one factor. You got it? Lepas tu, child mortality. Kalau child mortality itu maksudnya, who can explain that? Even child mortality means what? Kadar kematian kan? Kalau kadar kematian itu terus meningkat, kanak-kanak ramai yang mati. Apa maksud dia? Something's wrong with the healthcare system, isn't it? Child mortality ada kaitan dengan, and also of course also the child, mother and all that, but more so with the health, what do you call, hospitals, healthcare is not good. Something's not, they're not doing, something's really wrong for you to investigate. It gives you some kind of an idea to investigate what's wrong. Child mortality is rape. That means something's wrong with the healthcare facility and all that stuff. So that, from there, it gives you an indicator whether it's poor or not poor. Healthcare is very poor, very less. So that can relate to when too many, and also a lot of repercussions, when too many child is dying, the workforce, the potential workforce is reducing in the country, isn't it? Yes. So this is also a big repercussion to the country. So that is also related to poverty. So that is one aspect that we can see. From the healthcare, that means from there we can see whether health is okay or not okay. Child is dying, healthcare, something wrong with the healthcare. That means you go and address that level of poverty where the people are deprived, child is dying, so you go in, you know there's something wrong with the healthcare centers, isn't it? Then you know how to address. Education. Just giving you years in schooling. Years in schooling, kalau dropouts is not there too long. After standard 6, many drop out. What happens? What that shows? Why is considered poor? When, let's say, standard 6, many of them, after form 6, standard 6, they drop out, let's say. What does that mean?
Maybe not financially.
I'm talking about dropouts. That means assuming schools are okay, but dropping out.
Influence from the friends.
Influence and friends is happening. Okay, that's social problem. Yeah, financial. We can see that deprivation. Indirectly, we can see that why so many dropouts. Years of school not long. Years of school not long. Cepat dia drop out. Mungkin financial is not good. It shows something is wrong with the system, or maybe why financially not strong. The child need to work, help the parents. This happens, isn't it? All of us know. Because the child need to help the parents. Why? Because parents are poor. So looks like intergenerational transmission of, they call it IGT, intergenerational transmission of poverty. That means kemiskinan boleh diwarisi dari ibu bapa. Ibu bapa terperangkap dalam kemiskinan, anak pun mewarisi sebab drop out lah. So from there we can address what is actually wrong. Is it family institution or school, as you mentioned just now? Limited school. I don't know. Maybe the school is too far. Finding it difficult to travel and cost. So they need to build a school nearby. Probably. So you get answers. You get answers on the targeted thing. Golongan bersasar. Always issue on golongan bersasar, isn't it? Who's the target group? So you'll get answers from that. And also they have, then you have the stool, and also school attendance. Also important. If it's not always tuang saja. I tell my students during tutorial and kuliah, ni siapa yang selalu tuang dalam kuliah, inilah masalah dia. Dia tidak akan jadi bakal modal insan yang baik. Cemerlang. Sebab hari ini dia tuang, besok dia bekerja pun, cubalah tuang tengok, majikan kata boleh balik. Kan? Isn't it? Yes, it's different. So budaya dia akan bawa bersama. So why? That kind of attitude, when he is absent, that means what? When he's always absent, he's not learning. When he's not learning, he won't do well in exam. When he doesn't do well in exam, what happens? Results greatly affected. When results get affected, that means his productivity is also low. When productivity is low, knowledge is low. When knowledge is low, productivity is low, and of course we have exceptions. Always remember, you may ask, there are people, that is exception to the general rule. There are people, no education, they're successful. That is exception to the general rule. Itu selalu kita ada exception, tapi adakah itu majority? Always remember, don't bring Bunsu and all that, Datuk Bunsu and all that, they are all exceptions. You have always an exception. In life, remember, you have always an exception. That exception is special case. Okay, that is special case. They have a different, I'm talking about normal human being in that sense. Isn't it? In that sense, I'm talking about normal human being. Of course, education is one, but you also need other factors. But this is the fundamental, this is one way. You cannot go to ideal method. There's no ideal method, but we are trying to solve a problem with whatever that we have. We are trying to improve the methods. But there's no such thing as ideal method, ideal family or one. You need to work out. Even family, you need to work out. Can you have ideal family? It depends on who. On me also, isn't it? That's why this guy, just a selingan sikit lah. Okay. When you work, all work and no play makes us dull, isn't it? This guy was searching for the ideal wife or ideal life partner. He's looking, searching, mencari ideal life partner kan. Betul, ideal life partner untuk kahwin lah kan. So he's looking, A, he said no. Tengok A dia tak sesuai, B tak sesuai. Sampai lama dah. Then came to the number 12. She's the best for me. But this time the problem is she has rejected him. All the while, he is rejecting others. Now he has found the right person, but the problem is for her, he's not right. That can happen or not? Yes. So, ideal, that's the problem with the ideal thing. So, coming back to this. So, school of attendance is important. When you don't attend, all this can happen. Then you're affected. You become poor. That can cause you to become materially poor, even non-material also poor, knowledge-wise and all that, non-material. So that's how they from there they can make deduction, rumusan bila dapat dia punya angka-angka lah.
So
it's all connected. Again, see, social problems, variables are connected. So they have to go and address that. Kalau dia biar, ada masalah. So it's a social problem, right? It's a social problem. It's a ada sub variable yang mempengaruhi dia kan, intervening factor. They have to address that. That means adalah. Jadi from there we know if they leave that alone, dia akan deprive selama-lamanya. So they have to solve the problem. Dia akan jadi bakal miskin. Takut nanti dia kalau dia selalu tak datang, nanti dia akan deprive. Not only materially. Remember, they're not looking at material per se. Dia deprive mungkin dari segi apa? Dari segi emotional dia very stressful. It's not just materially he'll be deprived, but stressful. If you are, let's say, you have so much money, let's say, that's why I always say, poverty is a state of mind. You may have so much of money if you're suffering from loneliness. Tengok-tengok semua tak ada di rumah. Rumah besar. Tapi seorang, kesunyian. It's also poverty, consider poor. Your human rights are affected, let's say, your human rights are affected. Kamu tidak diberi pengiktirafan. Walaupun kamu warga negara Malaysia, tapi kamu tidak diiktiraf. You punya human rights, poor. Because you're deprived. Even that is poor. So we have to unlearn, poverty is not just income. Please. But we're not debunking. Kita tidak menolak hakikat. Pendapatan, satu faktor punca kemiskinan tidak menolak. Tapi jangan anggap itulah satu-satunya sahaja. Please. Loneliness is also considered poverty. You're poor because you're not happy. Well-being is the measurement, right?
For example, like exceptional case, you people, bloggers and all the other people, they are dropouts, but they are doing better in that other terms.
Exceptions. Exceptions. Because the yardstick is they are happy, their well-being achieved. Exceptions. Here, they're looking at masses. Are all of them are like that? No. Isn't it? That is exception. That is fine. We are not worried about these people, but we are worried about the large mass, the bigger group. If they have found a way to transform and solve, that's well and good. Fine, not a problem. We're not touching on that. This is for the bigger. You think all of them can become like that? Not all. That's why I always remember, that's why I was very quick to say exceptions. I know. You always have, that's why we have always had exceptions everywhere. Never, that is not for us. We are looking at general masses. This is for general masses, but general masses are not like that. Maybe exceptions are 20%, but 70% is different. 70 to 80% is different. Yes.
You cannot be an influencer.
Exactly. Very true. That's why if you are deprived, you cannot be. You are very true. That's why it's needed. That's why in standard of living, even education, you need to have all that. You need to bring all that variable inside today. You're gone. You cannot even start, isn't it? Well said. Well said. So there, assuming that facility is there for him, that's what he can do. Let's say he's in the rural area and all that. I'm sure he's deprived. It's not as good as that, isn't it? Maybe it's, again, his family background and all that, because they can provide that means. So he can do it. Okay, it is not simplistic, because when you bring multidimensional, it's not simplistic. That's why politicians usually they're finding it a bit difficult, because a lot of this income base is straightforward. Ada dia 2208 dia punya PLI kurang tu miskin, lebih tu tak miskin, senang lah. Isn't it? Easy, simplistic, but simplistic is not the answer. Isn't it? Life is complex. So the method is complex, good. It's not complex, it is they have already systematized properly, so it's good. So I've got another. This is the fundamental. So probably don't worry, I will give you all this basics foundation, then later we go into measurement. Maybe the part 2 and part 3 or what. If you had nice session, it's okay, we can finish, but it's okay. So this is how slowly I'm going into it. So this is the one, all this is the actual MPI they're giving. Look at the child mortality, nutrition, years of schooling, cooking fuel, sanitation, cooking fuel, what kind of cooking fuel they use. From there, you know really, this is not for those people. This is for general, isn't it? The masses, the majority. Cooking fuel. Of course, in Malaysia, so much, we are not, I don't know, still they're using kayu api ke? Adakah mereka masih gunakan kayu api? Tidak. I think worst come to worst, they use kerosene, gas lah. Now this all gas. So, because when you use third world country and other developed countries, they still use firewood. And firewood, the smoke, bad for health. That's why they are using this. The standard one, you can change, you can modify. In fact, the one I use, I modified. For students, I measured. B40 students, I measured. I changed all that. So this is for standard benchmark they use, indicators, but you can modify. It's not that fixed. I'm giving you an idea. So this one is for, they did under more than hundreds of countries they did research. So cooking fuel where they can bring, that affects their standard of living, sanitation, kebersihan, your toilet thing and all that. What kind of toilet you use, flush, or what? Latrine or whatever. Drinking water, like Malaysia is okay, but whether it's clean or not clean, you must modify. Here, you must modify. Is it clean water or what? That's another thing. Our water supply is good. But countries like Africa and India and all that, they have to walk miles. Isn't it? Yes. Imagine. And drinking and housing. How about what kind of house you need to come out with some benchmark? What kind of house is that? Apartment, flats. Like here, we can see flats is different. Apartment is different. Condominium is different. How are you going to go about it? All right? Because housing is important. What kind of house? How many rooms? You're going to have one room, family of 5, let's say. Family of 5, you're going to have one room, one hall. Imagine a small kitchen, 600 to 700 square feet. So how are they going to live? Space is important, isn't it? For education, for privacy, etc. You're stressful already, you're affected. To live in that environment, 6, 7 kids. Imagine. So all that, it affects, that's a deprivation. One room, that's why they come with rooms. One room must not be more than 3. They have certain benchmark. More than 3, that means a bit congested, a bit difficult for them to do anything to study. So drinking water, housing, and electricity. And I said, but of course, my time, most of us, of course, house with 2 rooms, small kitchen, my house and all that. Somehow, but not all can manage to come out of it. Exceptions. Isn't it? Those days were different, but not all could come out. Depends. Electricity, ada ke tak ada? Assets, other assets. So all this will, it reflect whether, how it is. So, few more minutes I will just. So this is a nutshell I'm giving you the statistics in Malaysia. So overall, what's the latest? Incidence of poverty of a PLI is unidimensional. The old method, conventional method, that is 89, 16.5. Now became 2019 is the latest. 19 is the latest. We have not come out with new human household income survey. 19 is 5.6. But COVID, after COVID, they did some quick analysis. They found 8.4% went up, of course. Many were affected by it. So poverty now, now if you ask people, poverty rate is 8.4 actually. It's not 5.6. It's post-COVID. The incidence of MPI we have already is measured based on this. That is, it has declined from 0.015. You see, MPI, they look at 0 and 1, Always remember, MPI, they only look at 0 and 1. Near to 0, it's good. Near to 1, it's bad. You're getting poorer and poorer. It's always 0. That's why it's always 0 and 1. Okay, remember, MPI is these two, 0 and 1, the calculation. And this one, if you convert to, of course, percentage becomes 0.015 becomes times 100%, it becomes 1.5. 1.5, and of course, they say reduced 1.1. This one, a lot of scholars we are discussing, it's controversial among scholars. How come so low and all that? There's a problem. See, the problem later I'll discuss with you, the kind of data they have collected from where. You cannot collect from different places. You must make sure there's a uniformity when you collect. So all that is important. From where do you collect, how you collect, and all that, we're going to discuss later. That is very, very important actually. If you simply collect as you like, you won't get a proper, it doesn't reflect. Kerana acuan tak betul. Bila acuan tak betul, kuih pun tak betul lah. The mold is important. So all that need to be addressed properly. But anyway, this is the one that we have. So 3 measures, MPI actually got 3 measures, different. Tapi we use this one, the first one. Adjusted, we call other digger, adjusted headcount ratio, adjusted poverty gap, and adjusted square. They only use this, the top one. This is the most popular. The top one is the most popular worldwide. Others are okay, but these are the most popular by, okay, and it's based on adjusted, we call it, that is H times A. Senang kan, simple kan? Tapi nak dapatkan H ada dia punya ukuran dia. A ada dia punya ukuran dia. How are you going to collect all? You can summarize in H. H itu dia lebih kepada head count lah. It's very simple. Apa tu H? Head count dia. Apa tu head count? Katakan population, katakan orang miskin tu, katakan saya ada orang miskin tu, katakanlah population tu ada 10 orang. katakan population tu 10 orang. Okay? And orang miskin tu katakan 2 saja. Population tu contohlah, population 2, 10. Miskin 2, 2 bahagi 10, no problem. 2 bagi 10 berapa? 0.2, 20% only miskin lah. Itu head count. To put it very simple. Head count dia. Tapi hanya head count saja cukup ke? Katakan miskin, katakan 8 orang. Katakan miskin tu 8 orang. Dia punya populasi 10 orang. Berapa semuanya? 80% kan? Itu macam banyak kan? Head count lah. That's what they've been using under incidence of poverty. Kadar kemiskinan konvensional. Maksudnya dia hanya tengok dia punya kadar kemiskinan macam tu saja. Itu tidak menggambarkan keadaan yang sebenar. 80% tu nampak macam apa? Dia 80% ramai yang miskin. Dia miskin dalam semua aspek. Itu terlalu ekstrim lah tu. That's why you need to have adjusted head count dia. That's why you must time with A dia. A itu penting. A itu intensity ketersisihan dia. Barulah kita akan dapat yang betul. So they call it adjusted. Then only you get a realistic. Actually, they have done it very well. Realistic dia punya answer. That means you won't get 80%, you get lower than that, but balance. Bukan lower sangat. Dia tengok macam tu. Okay, that's what A. Ini I'm giving you the idea of what do you mean by MPI dengan formula dia saya bagi awal-awal. Sekarang apa tugas kita? How to mencari A, how to mencari H dan A. Untuk mencari A, H dan A kita kena collect data dulu. Kena sediakan dia punya dimensi dulu. Kena sediakan dia punya apa? Indikator semua kena buat. So M is calculated multiplying these two lah. So these are the steps. Okay? Defining the data source. So dari mana kamu nak buat kajian? Luar bandar ke, bandar ke? Tadi kan ditanya kan, di mana you want to do? Kelompok masyarakat mana you nak do? That you need to do. Then you need analysis. Apa you nak calculate apa? Adakah education, health? Biasanya standard tu banyak digunakan education, health dan ini. Tapi juga boleh ada banyak lagi ya. Human rights, you nak ukur human rights dia. Criminal activity dia, crime, isu crime. Sebab kamu kata crime dah ada kaitan dengan kemiskinan. Kan, you nak mengkaji lah. Kenapa juvenile crime tu meningkat? Mungkin sebab kemiskinan. Dia rasa bahawa kerja yang paling sesuai adalah apa? Jadi penjenayah, scammer kan, tu senang, easy kan. So macam tu boleh lah. Jadi dia kena buat kajian macam tu. You need analysis. Lepas tu dimensions, apa dimension you nak pilih, dan deprivation dia, cuts off, dia ada cuts off dia, dia punya benchmark lah, dia benchmark dia. Dan weight, kena ada ni weight. Weight ni akan menunjukkan, memberi kepentingan dia. Dia punya strength to that dimensi ataupun indicator, nak bagi strength dia. Tak boleh hanya kata crime, berapa dia punya weight you nak bagi. Kan? Berapa weight you nak bagi. Ada kepentingannya kan. Ada cara nak calculate lah. Cara. Lepas tu, poverty, dia ada 2 cut off. Poverty cut off dengan ni. Lepas tu, computing MPI. Dia punya steps. Ada 7 steps. So we go through one by one. Ini sebelum tu I'll finish this. Dia ada beberapa rule of thumb yang kena tahu. Dia punya rule of thumb maksudnya dia punya general principle yang kena ikut. Satu daripadanya adalah determine 2 cuts off. Satu adalah deprivation cut off, poverty cut off. Dia punya cut off ni macam ni. Ini antara kosong. Dia cut off ni untuk deprivation ataupun in Malay what do you call deprivation? Siapa dapat jawab? Saya belanja. Ketersisihan. Good. Tapi tak sebut apa saya nak belanja. Very good. Ketersisihan. Tersisih. Deprive. It's a good word. Coined by Amartya Sen. It's from him actually. He's the one who coined deprivation. Deprive. They use the word deprivation. Ketersisihan. So deprivation cut off. Garis ketersisihan. Kosong digunakan binary. Kalau dia tersisih, kosong. Tak tersisih, 1. Binary lah. Lepas tu ada lagi satu lagi poverty cut off. Dia biasanya digunakan one, maksudnya dia ada juga. Lepaslah kita dah buat ni, dia kena ada juga dia benchmark dia. Kalau macam PNI lah. Kurang macam daripada sini, dia jadi memang poverty tersisih, intensity dia. Kalau tak kurang, dia punya intensity ketersian dia tak. Jadi dia ada juga cara dia. Iaitu 0.33 ataupun 30%, 0.30, 20%, 40%. Usually they say between 1.5 to 2.5. Biasanya dia gunakan the yellow one lah. 0.333 ataupun 0.300. Lepas tu weight kena tahu. Kena letakkan, kena kira dengan betul. Lepas tu MPI, H times A kena betul. Tapi MPI H akan datang bila kemudahan yang lain tu okey lah. So plus point with MPI. Shall I stop here or tidak akan berterusan?
So press.
Okay, wrap up. wrap up macam ni lah wrap up. Actually ada banyak, actually I want to do hands-on, membuat pengiraan tau. That's the only way I can learn. I want to do hands-on actually. But it's okay. Masa tidak mengizinkan kita. Tapi walaupun pun kita ada di lain masa. Ada dia punya orang kata apa? Sequel to it. Part 1, part 2. No worries. But it's good enough. I think too much pun saturated kan? No, if it's too much also it gets saturated. You got the foundation, isn't it? Itu cukup. Itu cukup. I think it's good. You got the foundation and let me wrap up. So, example, these are the things that I'm going to do actually hands-on actually. Lepas inilah dia punya step dia, pengiraan, how dia pengira household dia macam mana, all this. Okay, dia punya pengiraan dia. Ini yang saya buat sebenar tu. This actual one I did. Yeah. So all this, this is I did two. One is pilot study. I also did I'm writing a paper to send to a journal actually. And one more I'm doing a sebenar lah. 200. Itu ambil masa sikit. Saya sepatutnya buat awal. Masa tu COVID, semua dah terbantu. So now only managed. Okay. Jadi end of the day, kita dah lihat wrapping up senang saja. Pembangunan kita tahu pembangunan yang sebaik-baiknya pembangunan itu seharusnya pembangunan holistik, iaitu merangkumi ekonomi. Kita tidak menolak apapun. Menolak itu merangkumi ekonomi, pembangunan ekonomi kena pertumbuhan ekonomi atau pembangunan ekonomi kena berganding bau dengan pembangunan kemanusiaan. Duniawi disebut. See, you talk about gagasan masyarakat madani and all that. They're talking about actually kemanusiaan. Actually, keluarga Malaysia ke baik semualah. Hatu Malaysia, all is about humanizing actually. The root word is they're trying to humanization. That's all. And after that, bila dah tahu humanization tu kena betul, barulah kita boleh conceptualize poverty dengan betul. Dia sealiran dengan pembangunan holistik. Dan bila kalau dia punya pentaksiran tu betul, barulah dia punya pengukuran jadi betul. Ukuran penting. Kita nak ukur kenapa? Barulah kita tahu golongan bersasar, target group. Siapa yang miskin tak miskin? Kalau tidak, orang yang tak miskin pun akan apa? Tumpang. This is the problem actually. This was the problem why some of them are failed, I can tell you. Because banyak kemudahan yang kerajaan sediakan tu, orang yang tak sepatutnya dapat pun dia menikmati. I can tell you this. Yes, kerajaan in fact dia sediakan banyak institusi, katakan sekolah-sekolah berasrama penuh and all that stuff. You go and see, ramai orang yang M40 ke atas, T20 pun menikmati sama. So you are actually depriving those who are supposed to get because sources are being wasted. You'll be surprised, lagi kaya dia lagi tamak. Is it true or not? Yes, I'm surprised lah. Ini yang berlaku. I can answer the question just now. Because you see from the top, they will have certain policies are good. But when come bawah ni, yang tadi saya tengok trickle effect kan, ini yang problem. So manusia coming back lah. Again manusia. Ramai, banyak program. Then tak sampai ke golongan sasar. Lepas tu golongan sasar pun juga mengambil kesempatan. So you need to have a monitoring, maybe perlu juga ada pemantauan, monitoring yang betul. Banyaklah yang kena lihat. So that is the rumusan. Dan kita lihat ada kaitan. Memang ada kaitan pembangunan dengan kemiskinan dan di masa yang lain kita akan buat secara hands-on how to mengira and mendapatkan dia punya MPI. That's all right. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's a helpful start some of the terms, concepts might not be familiar if you have not done sociology or one of these courses. But Prof will give us, Doc will give us some articles that we can read up. There'll at least be one assignment. It won't be like your kertas kerja you are writing for mapping report.
Simple.
It's just an opinion, comment, and then we'll set the day for online discussion.
Let me
But
know.
before, you will have to submit your points or questions and all. And then we will try and see a third meeting on this or some other, like a small conference on understanding development better. But Debbie is also working on multidimensional poverty. So it's also an important thing, because when you're going down to the ground, you are listening to people and all. We need to have a benchmark of what we are looking at. Quality of life, problems, struggles, improvement. So what is the benchmark? So your idea of who is poor or who is rich might only be determined by material terms. So the indicators might be important. So even in small work that we are doing, we are not like Dawson that has big survey data. But if you're handling 10 women or 20 women, you can generate info. That day with Panir and James, I listened to the Kuantan, the lady from Kuantan. They received the KSI award. She did a survey of 47 single mothers. And then she said about 70% of them don't have stable income. It's fluctuating. But then she said 90% want to do training of some kind to improve. That's how she started her story of what she's doing in the entrepreneurship program. So like that, you might have Orang Asli group, you might have the Nilayan, like the Nilayan came that day. What's his name? Budiman. He came that day. He told us his income dropped by more than 50% because the mangrove swamp was cleared. That's about 70 fishermen. So if you ask better question, you can start tabulating and how the income. So it's case study approach, but it's very real life story. And what are they doing to improve? So we want to improve, be familiar with the other indicators, be familiar with the two writers. Amartya Sen, I'm familiar with. So Google search, go to YouTube. Amartya Sen is all the time on YouTube. You can listen to his lectures. He's a Nobel laureate. So many books written by him. He is still based in Calcutta, but he is in Cambridge. He is in Harvard scholar. So it'll be interesting. So let's continue this upper I call the learning curve. Learn something new. Like I had to learn what is hydrogen economy. Because I was invited by the PM to a meeting, and guess who was my guru to teach me about hydrogen economy? Crash course between my house to the office and to the meeting, Anthony, because he knows everything about energy policy and all that. So he briefed me, then I listened to the YouTube. Now I can give a small talk on hydrogen economy. No lah.
Knowledge is.
Macam lawyer buruk lah. Okay. So have a good lunch and we'll continue the exercise. Over to you, Zola.
All right. Thank you, Dato. I think one thing is very important for today learning is seeing things from different dimension and different in depth. In fact, this is why we need to encourage in APPGM, and also a good, from what Dato has wrapped up very wellly, and also the way forward. But I also want to take this opportunity to give you another encouragement. Okay, Dato, you announce about that. the column. Okay, I give you an encouragement. We might, okay, we are working on it, and we need the support and also collaboration from everyone in the office, including those who are online, our secretariat. We may have a column in one of the mainstream newspaper weekly column. So from what we want to do, I have to thanks to Dr. Denison. I think our pioneer is cracking. Okay, all right. So, but what we need to do is really seeing things from different dimension. You know, if you have an opportunity to feature the stories about localizing SDGs, sustainability, about the grassroots in the mainstream news, newspaper, you don't want something like just report. Okay, you want human story and etc. So we are going to submit 6 articles as example for the editors to see whether we can work together. So it's open to all our staff, secretariat. So I will share more information in the group. But what I want to use this opportunity to encourage you is see things from different dimensions and also different in depth. Okay, all right.
Okay, this one is a good opportunity. We are now writing laporan. Laporan writing is different from a feature article style. Laporan is, on this day, we had this activity, Denison opened it, YB came, this one. Nobody will read that article. But if you say, I met Budiman in a boat in a mangrove swamp, and he told me, this is what happened. The story he told me, you can cut a mangrove tree within 5 minutes. To replant it is going to take 10 years. That's what he told us. They have replanted 10,000 mangrove trees. But it's going to take 10 years for them to find the udang and the kerang and all these things. So if you write the story from human profile style, and you can do it like Dr. Siti wrote on the Room, MOA project. So you can write about an event, you can write about your training, but take a human life approach. So we want to give many writers a chance. So you don't need to now tell James, I need 5 days to write my story for Zoel. Cannot. This one, you need to dream about it. When you're driving your car, you have to think through. But it's a very good opportunity. We might do a weekly column on localizing SDG or grassroots stories or some idea about SDG. So this is in English, but if an editor wants to do in Malay, then we can do in Malay as well. We'll try and see.
Thank you, Dato. Yeah, we are thinking about a name, still brainstorming, unsung hero in SDGs, building sustainable community. Everyone is encouraged, not only researcher, everyone. If Mala want to write your observation, I think it's more about observation and reflection, okay? Observation of someone, why they pindah the bilik di sini, tidur di sini, day and night and working for what reason? Maybe Panyo and also James. All right, okay, I don't want to further ado. And once again, we want to thank Dr. Pratiban with us this morning, but it won't stop here. You have assignment, then you have follow-up sections.